I want it to be made out of actual wood. I want it to be looking rustic. I want it to have some years in it so that when my grandkids discover it, they'll be like, oh, what the hell is this, Jumanji? Bro, they got an app for that.
And then your house is going to be destroyed. But I'm saying, then they're going to open up the board, and now your house is gone.
Down on them.
All right, here we go. I think this is a live match, thank goodness. So, how is it working tonight? If you're just now joining us, we're doing different game modes. We're starting off with Control. We'll move into Execution, Escalation, then Control, then Execution to finish us off. It's a best of 5, map number 1, and we are on Training Grounds. Grand Finals here, and the love is already started.
All right, yeah, the love is starting. Just had to let the chat know that we're coming. We are here now because everybody, you have all been so fantastic, patiently waiting for this grand finals to start. And we do have the 2 best teams in LATAM. So just make sure you guys give yourself some love and a round of applause for sticking it out with us this entire time as you are currently watching Sumuns put on a show up here, top heaven, slaying out multiple players. And now he gets to group up with Raver as they lock in this B Hill.
B-Hill locked in so far. You can tell the teams are yeah. You're right. I didn't even realize it sounded so natural when you said it. I just rolled with it because it is B-Hill, right? No, I guess it's not. It's just a hill. At this point, it's just a hill. You can see everybody rotating over now, trying to lock in this next hill. And I believe Fire and Ice is going to be set up quite nicely to at least try to keep PK back. And at this moment in time, you can see they do have it. Now, this is a pretty big gap to cover. So how do you go about it, Blaze, in order to attack this hill? Because by the time you get there, you have to think the Lancer Fire is going to take a toll on you.
Yeah, and I do want to say quickly that all the hills on this map are going to be similar to the 6 hills that we see on Escalation, just kind of flipped and rotating. So you guys may hear us call them by their letters at some point. But the way that you break it is, you see how PK are trying to cover this distance? The only way this is broken is player 6 realizes that he needs to flank, or player 8, somebody needs to be behind. As long as Fire and Ice sees all 4 players in front of them, you will never break this setup. Look at the focus fire. They're all on the same page. One of the big things that make talented teams is figuring out how to get your team on the same page. Why the Optic Gaming Dynasty was as dominant as it was, they always knew the perfect play. They had one of the perfect IGLs. So when you are on the same page, you just saw a dominant hold there. The Knights could not get a player to flank from behind, but they need to be approaching these heals from multiple angles.
And that's the big thing, right? You want to collapse in. You don't want to just go through one central choke point. Obviously, you're susceptible to Lancer Fire, Snub Fire, and that chip damage can take a toll on you and ultimately put you within chunk range, and is not the most optimal way to go about it. So 100%. Now, as we do transition over toward the next hill, Fire and Ice has netted themselves a decent lead. Pittsburgh Knights struggling to get the ball rolling, but you mentioned the Lancer Fire and the Snub Fire. There was a prime example of it, but Fire and Ice was able to push their way through simply because of the team pickups, and this push is looking good and aggressive. It's going to be a 4v3, bit of a mismatch, but a couple players are on their last down. They got to be careful.
Oh, so this heal is not an Escalation heal, being pushed back towards the corner just a bit more. I actually kind of like that placement. Excited to see how it's going to play out during this map, but currently it is a battle being won for the Knights. Player 5 is going to be rotating down low, and they are spawning the opposite side of the hill towards that lower secondary on the other end of the map. So they're able to get multiple players on heaven and shoot down at the members of F&I. F&I are taking the right approach, trying to get through spawn. This is where the most cover is going to be. But Raver, man, he's winning his 1v1 engagements, and F&I needs to figure out how to take this as a team. If not, rotate early. And I think this next heal may go Overlook.
Overlook is going to be it. You can already tell Fire and Ice is setting up. I will give credit to F&I. They've been doing a great job, at least from the first 2 hills, setting up earlier on, really working on their spawns and defensive setup. But PK off that last hill, almost looking like a money hill at that point with how many points they were able to accumulate. They have went from what, being 98 points, 98 to like 12, all the way up to 98, 80. Just 18 points separate the 2. But with this being an Overlook now, this is a fight both teams are very familiar with, whether it be offensively or defensively. And Fire and Ice might be able to accumulate quite a few points here with the way they're set up. PK's got to push through that choke point, be unique in their setup. But look at player 3 down low. Dyslexic is taking a new approach. He drops off, but he spreads the forces of PK.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to do. Just kind of spread them out a little bit. You know, don't make them have to. If you can group them up, that's nice. But on the flip end, PK trying to approach from both stairs simultaneously. They will be able to get up towards top Overlook. Toti's waiting for reinforcements, but he's going to just rotate down low, help his teammates out in their fight, keep taking this right-hand battle. But a lot of confidence from Dezo in that shot. That was a big play, but can he do it again? Not this time around against Dyslexic.
Dyslexic playing very well so far, holding it down, and again, Fire and Ice from this Overlook hill have netted themselves a very decent lead. You're just joining us, they're playing to 350 points, not 250 like you are used to seeing, so a lot more rounds still to be played, and an opportunity for PK to tie this up is a very real thing. Only 15 seconds remain here, but because Training Grounds is pretty accessible in terms of rotations, nobody is really wanting to rotate off earlier on. They want that scrap time, and PK valued it quite a bit. They fought for it. Now we're going to the next engagement. Dyslexic's at the forefront. He's gone. Team pickup. Fearzly is there. Tries to take down Sumuns. Only gets the drop, but doesn't get the full cleanup. That allows PK to start gaining points once again.
PK. They're already starting to set up for next. It's going to be in the bottom left-hand corner of your mini map. They got a player in heaven, two on top of the hill, one in Overlook, and Dezonide really in a power position. Nobody can contest him, but PK needs to be aware. Player 4 on the flank, he will be matched up. Dezonide free shots across the map, but I do believe his angle is no more at this moment. He has to continue to shift over. PK doing their best to hold, but F&I, their wolf pack is so strong as they find 2 kills to their name, but the third does not come through just yet before he gets a little bit of a revenge. F&I is going to be able to hold this setup, but not for long. They're going to have multiple PK members coming off a respawn first to get here, as their teammates are going to be spawning on the opposite end of the map at Overlook.
And that's going to be a tough spawn to overcome. You're going to have to rotate all the way over, and PK could net themselves another 30 points depending on how this engagement goes. They're already locking it in. They got to deal with one more person, though. Actually, make that 2. Looks like some nades are out. They don't connect. Fearzly's gone. Xploids, tough spot, holding his own, picks up one, at least gets to trade, but ultimately PK still fight. Actually, Fire and Ice takes the hill. That was a decent break.
That was a decent break. I do want to say, look at the Fire and Ice members that spawned up on the mini-map. If you have this setup, you have to get that spawn. If you do not have that spawn, you will spawn at Overlook. So these bottom 2 hills can be power positions. You just need an anchor on the opposite heaven to be able to block that spawn and give you a cross, and just let your opponent approach you from the opposite end, and just kind of hold them off that way, because Overlook to those lower hills is a longer route. But currently on the hill in the top right-hand corner at the DB depot, you're going to have the Knights with this one to their name. And look at their spread. They're making sure that their opponent is not spawning towards the actual spawn side where we saw that last hill. That's why they got 2 players on that side of the map. And that's something that a lot of these teams will learn and perfect as they keep playing more control. Which spawns do we need to block? This Training Grounds map isn't typically played in the 1v1s and the 2v2s out there in those kind of like underground matches. And but here, these guys got to learn those spawns.
Oh, shit! I got him!
All right, scoreline so very close. But ultimately, it's going to be PK gaining a little bit more, but F&I is right there to fight. It seems like both teams are starting to get a handle on what's taking place in terms of the hills. That's why you can see the scoreline being as close as it is. At the beginning, it was very one-sided towards F&I. PK started coming back. Fire and Ice then regained the lead. Now PK is right back in the saddle. And I expect it to be this close through and through. Dyslexic will take down Monkyz as he was just trying to rotate over, mind his own business, but he's gone. Raver will take down Xploids, and the new hill, where the B hill would be on the first half of Training Grounds in Escalation, is going to be up very shortly. And Dezo's wanting to strike first. There is going to be a member up top. It's going to be Toti, but he is being distracted by Monkyz, and that's what you need. You need your teammates to be all over the map, so there are no lanes for F&I, but unfortunately, Xploids makes his own, takes down Dezo.
Yeah, he got a beautiful spawn there. He actually spawned in the swarm spawn, so was able to just truck on over there and just kind of walk it out. Beautiful shot there from Monkyz. Makes it a 3v3 on the map there. Raver actually, he goes down as well. That puts the 2. The revive did come through. What a play. You didn't see it happening. He actually juked me out. I didn't think he got there in time, but Raver does make the play, unless he tapped up, but I don't think he did.
How long does it take to tap up? Is it 20? I think it's 20 seconds.
It's about 10. It's about 10 to 20. 15 maybe actually just the
down but not out time. 20
mark. Yeah.
seconds. So man, that's actually a long time to be down there. Talk about staggering the devs. 202.
But it's half if you press A. I want to say that's the maximum time of DB of down but not out. But if you are tapping your A button, you can cut it in half or at least maybe 24%.
Okay, 24%.
25, I meant to say. Sorry. I
say
24 was a weird number.
24%. All right, Blaze. That's really, I like that. But you would be the one to know exactly 24% with your Gears history. So
24% may be perfect because nobody ever like gets.
Oh, so you're doubling down on it now. Okay.
I'm gonna double down on it now. I said it for a reason.
20. All right, 24%, guys. If you didn't know that, tap it as quickly as you can. Everybody's setting up for this next hill. PK was over there, but they're fighting the Overlook fight. I guess they realize they need to get them out of the spot, but unbeknownst to them, you got a couple of FNI members now isolating your boy Raver. He's out of the way, and I feel that was a bit of a misplay. I don't know why PK pressured Overlook as hard as they did. There was no hill there.
Yeah, but you know what? To have this Overlook and to be able to shoot down, think about the setup that FNI had on his hill to start the game at the Monument Hill. Currently, the Knights couldn't break it, so the Knights says, you know what? We need the Overlook to win the hill. If Xploids wins this fight, would have hit a squad in a great position, but instead, now Raver gets the free shots because he has players that Overlook with the right hand, but that blind fire from Toti was insane. Him and Dyslexic, they are able to stay alive, and they have found a sweet spot. That's why they're so close. If they spread out anymore, player 5 would have took them out, but FNI got the same setup that they had before on this money hill.
And that you're absolutely right. And these money hills can be huge. You can already tell both teams are prioritizing the rotation, but PK is going to be a force to reckon with. And the only person FNI sent over there was Xploids. Let's not forget, this is the hill PK was able to lock in for literally the entirety of the 75 seconds and go from being down about 80 points all the way up to just being down 15 points. So with that being said, FNI has to fight hard for this. And those nades aren't making a life easier. Fearzly does die off to 1, and Exploits needs to get these trades. That's a great start. Raver is gone to Fresh Hill, starting to pop up very shortly, and that long hallway, the Lancer fire, is absolutely punishing the PK boys. FNI made the right call to get over here and apply the pressure as they did. This was absolutely the right call.
Xploids, man, did a fantastic job not giving up too much, waiting for his help to get there. But I'm loving the FNI setup that they have. It's a player at DP Depot. They got one in heaven. The Lancer fire is there, forcing the Knights to have to trek across open terrain to get to this hill, and that's not where you want to be. And with you see Dyslexic, he is really doing a good job in his close quarter fight towards the B hill, because ain't nobody coming down this little tight corridor. This hill right here is fully locked in for FNI, and I think the Knights need some more pressure there from the opposite end of the map there towards Satellite.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes to show you this specific hill is just so hard to break, and maybe even, you know, identically on the other side, it's incredibly difficult to break. But both teams have been able to just get a massive amount of points. Fire and Ice, the fact that they're at 312 is going to put PK in a very difficult spot, especially now as we're transitioning over towards Overlook. Fire and Ice is already set up for it, and you saw how many points they were able to get just last time they had this very hill. This could be the end of this round.
This honestly, Training Grounds is all about working smarter, not harder. This is early rotations, early setup, Lancer fires, a lot of choke points on Training Grounds. Big reason why people don't want to play it in 2v2, but having those 2 extra players to threaten multiple different lanes, you get a lot of money hills on this map, because by the time you break it, half the hill is already gone. It needs some big hills so you can guard from multiple different locations. But look at the difficulty of PK to just try to get to that choke point. That's the strength of this hill, of why Fire Knights have been rotating early, and so far the money hills have been over here towards the U, at Monument, and they've also locked in a lot of time towards Satellite as well. But PK trying to break through. They may finally be able to do it, taking down Exploits. I do believe Toti is the last man standing, and he's going to get the final 2 kills.
He definitely is, and that's going to be the round. Well done for Fire and Ice. 14-44 is what it took, and I must say, it was a pretty big battle. Both teams had wild swings in points, whether it be a deficit or a positive, but at the end of the day, Fire and Ice found the winning formula, and it was that money hill that made all the difference. Made the difference for PK earlier, but ultimately, it was the undoing for PK in the end. Plus the Overlook hill. If you would break it down, I remember we used to break it down literally hill by hill in Call of Duty. If you were to do the same thing here, you would tell that two specific hills were the big money makers, and that was Overlook and of course the one all the way over on the left side. So hey,
wow. We used to be in tournaments, and if somebody misrolled out a spot and you didn't call that out, everything went bad. You had to say, bro, I'm late. Switch up the strat, go middle. If not, your teammate is just a sitting duck out there.
Well, here we go. No sitting ducks this time, Blaze. It is going to be a live round, and we're going to get into the action. Now, this top fight, well underway. Raver is going to drop alongside that of Monkyz. Fire and Ice off to a great start so far. Excuse me, Monkyz has picked back up. But either way, Exectuion has the numbers. They've got the forces, and Xploids has the snipe, and he connects on the summons, and the finish is right there. So now it's a 1v4. Monkyz last alive.
Not surprised that FNI won that tower battle. They did approach it from the bad side and usually from that swarm side of the map. You see how he walks it out? Hey, that was his best play because you got to walk it out. You can't make noise. He tried to time it well, but you know, this ain't Gears of War 1 and he just got jumped on right there. But as I was saying, from that swarm side of the map, typically teams do love to run a 3 inside snipe tower, and your front spawn, he has to throw his own flash. He has to wrap shot it around the truck that you run past, and once you wrap shot it there, you just have to get in that corner and hope that you have the support. And one thing that I did notice, I don't think you can hop into trucks anymore on this map like you used to.
I don't think you can. I know what you're talking about. I don't think you can. At least
I forgot about that.
At least as of now. Now, we will see a big battle once again up top on tower. And the reason why, obviously, you have the snipe that's over there. The nades are not too far away either, but this is the main focal point. Speaking of nades, that's going to connect. Unfortunately, takes down Raver. It's going to be a 3v1 and 3v none. 30 seconds. PK answers back to tied up 1-1.
Yeah, throughout this, I think we're going to see quick rounds like that all of Gridlock, because as soon as you get that first blood, it's no need to stop. The way that the players are pressed up against that fight down low for the torque bow, you can get free shots in their back. And if he does not press forward, it's just a matter of time before he's crossed out. So similar to kind of how checkout was, if that's a 1v1 spot, as soon as your first teammate die, you have to be proactive in that 1v1 and getting your team some advantage.
Another start underway. Monkyz is pretty much going to get that snipe for free, and FNI is going to be in trouble. Toti forced to back up. He's really got to play this properly. Now, if he can take Monkyz here, that would be best case scenario. Get the lone shot out of the way, and there's a possibility. He's now gone, lone shot gone. And now he's going to be able to force the issue on Raver, and he has a perfect opportunity. He's going to get the cleanup. Even so, 2v1, and the torque bow is there. So he's got to play this carefully, but for some reason, I feel like Toti can do this. He's got to dodge a lot of nades. It's going to be a big heroic play, but we expect a lot from him.
He's doing a great job now. He's forcing him to use these torque bows. He's baiting bows, looking for the 1v1, knowing that he has one more nade dodge as well, but just trying to isolate the fight, get to some damage in there, but has to go into both players, so he's not going to win that one. But great effort for him. He got off to a great start, but the boys of PK made sure to cover all their bases and all their angles and just keep putting in a little damage at a time and not let him get his health regen.
All right, so it's looking pretty solid so far for PK. You got to win 6 rounds. Normally it's 5. We're playing to first to 6. Could be a total of 11 rounds to take place. But either way, though, we'll see that fight once again. Fire and Ice round 1 did such a great job, and PK has done an even better job at reacting. This is going to force Fire and Ice to go for the low side, change it up a bit, and only send one player up to challenge Raver. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be working out as one player. No, Fearzly's back up. He's going to be able to fight it out. He's now gone 3v3. Torque bow is going to... Oh, Monkyz is going to find yet another one. That brings it to a 3v2. But Dyslexic with the torque bow. Oh, he gets away, and maybe he can make something happen.
Oh, he's doing a good job holding his bow, moving around, staying mobile.
He was there?
Well, he didn't forget he was there. It's just that Dezonide knew that the bow had to be shot in 2 seconds, and he was going to have to reload, swap weapons. Dezonide did not mind losing his life in that scenario. He knew he was going to get a kill regardless.
Stay out of my line of fire.
That's going to be the final one. Toti is gone, and PK has chained together 3 rounds in a row to bring it 3-1. An important round, or important map for them to win, right? Because they did lose the earlier training grounds control. So they would tie up the series, make it that much easier, or I should say more accessible to make it to a game 5, or at least take the win. They can obviously win 3-1.
Go get him!
So let's see the initial, the previous round from the bad side. It was PK that ran the 3-1, but I think they spread out here into a 1-1-2, making sure that they got a presence mid-map for the nades. Raver stun as he go up here. These are 50-50 fights, but he do come out his stun first and get the chunk. Some good damage there from Xploids, but great awareness by Sumuns, knowing that the flank was coming from mid-map. Now it's up to Dyslexic, and Monkyz is going to give him a nice little haircut.
A nice little haircut indeed. I think everything is gone at this point in time. 4-1, 2 rounds away for taking it. If you're in terms or speaking in regards to Pittsburgh Knights, only one player has died once. And I think that's Raver, who's only died once. Yeah, he's doing a great job. 5-1, leading the charge for his team. We'll have to keep our eye out for him.
Yeah, we definitely do got to keep our eye out for him. So how is Fire Knights going to turn this one around? Looking at all those arrows, this is going to be a headbutt fight here. The flashes are out. They're pressing through. Raver gets to his sweet spot. You knew he was going to be able to get a shot, but it wasn't a good one. Had an opportunity for a kill, but F&I will strike first. You see, I believe that is Dezo who had to push his 1v1. Sumuns threw a lot of nades up there. They didn't connect.
Fearzly easily cleans up the last one too. Those nades would have connected. That could have been beneficial, but either way, I don't think he was getting away from Fearzly's Nasher. 4-2. Fire and Ice slowly coming back, but that's only one. They got to step it up a little bit more. But what worked in that round versus the last round?
Well, what worked in that round for F&I was just that first blood on Raver. Actually, I want to say it was probably their flashes, because Raver didn't even have no help come up really from the back. His teammates kind of like knew that, bro, you're dead, and we're not going to die with you there. They ran a 3-1. Also from that side, you have 3 players with a right-hand advantage, but Fearzly gets through the stuns, and that's why he gets the double kill. It's a stun fest up there, so whoever can get through just needs to make the play. This round, it was Fearzly.
26 seconds. Fire and Ice coming back with a vengeance. And you know what's scary about this? They do come back and they win this. Let's say they just theoretically win this Exectuion Gridlock. They're going into Harbor Escalation. And it's been kind of a rocky point for Fire and Ice on that map, specifically for Escalation, but they can win the series 3-0. They can open up that possibility, but a lot of work to be done here. And I expect PK to react much like they did after they lost round 1, and that is in just a counterintuitive way to what Fire and Ice is kind of throwing their way. But they're just going to go head first directly into them. At this point, again, it's one of those 50-50s.
It is one of those 50-50s. And I must say, I wouldn't be mad if the shocks were still on this map, probably. Only because it would slow down this engagement up top on Gridlock towards the sniper. Torque bow's picked up here by Dyslexic. Has a few shots left, but the sniper's in front of him. Monkyz misses the shot. 3v2 here for the Knights. They have the height advantage, but the power weapon with the explosive shells is in the hands of F&I, and you see the splash damage comes through. Trying to do it once again, but he's putting the bows in places where his teammate can't get pressed, but he needs to think about himself. But why think about himself when he has a player like Toti on his squad to get the double kill?
That's impressive. Getting that splash damage elimination, as you said, forcing or allowing Toti to push up because of that added pressure with the torque bow was a brilliant play, because if you look at Pittsburgh Knights and their positioning, you can almost give them the advantage naturally because they had tower. That was a big play for them. Plus they had the snipe. It was very difficult for him to get out of that spot, but he made it happen. Very well done. That's 3 in a row. They tied up 4-4, and the chance for Fire and Ice to take the lead is here.
It definitely is here. F&I run a different strategy, only sending one person up top. They got one mid-map watching the nade, but when one is up top, you got to use that flash to stop the engagement, stop the pickups. Now, this is going to be a free snipe, but the torque bow was picked up by Xploids, so I love that strategy. You know what? They even got towards their opponent's side of the map, towards the back white van. They will be retreating from that side of the map because they want to be able to, I believe, get this torque bow in a position to have an influence top tower, but The rotation is late. The torque bow's on the back end of the map, and it won't have any influence here. Those F&I members just need to stay alive on the stairs.
Ooh, nice shot. And that's going to put Xploids in a very awkward spot. Body shot misses just a little bit, but where are you really going to go?
I will say this, though, Taylor. If a boom shot was on this map, all three of those members on PK would have been dead a long time ago.
You think so? Well, fair enough. I mean, if it was, but
I'm 100%. If it was two boom shots, because think about the last time we watched this map.
Oh, it was amazing.
Squads who were able to get that boom shot, they launched them up there and just was able to get kills. But it's you know, the torque bow, the boom, they both have the same influence. The boom just has a wider area of splash damage, and when it comes down to that tower, it's a lot of close quarters and a lot of walls up there in which you could shoot to get multi-kills.
You can't just camp it like we kind of been seeing with the torque or with the snipe. Specifically with the snipe, you can't just camp it, because you're right. So many two pieces we saw when the boom shot was there, especially for that last tournament.
I think it's easier to camp with a torque bow on a map to hold the tower. With no torque bows, no shocks, you don't get the nades. Like if I have a sniper in that tower, I don't care if a torque is looking at me. That's actually what I'm looking for. As soon as you start revving, I feel like I can get a free headshot, and you will not approach my tower for free without taking damage.
Taking down Sumuns is big there. He picked up the nades, so getting those out of the way is massive. Raver, though, looking to pull off some heroics. But he needs to. Oh, they can't anymore. Raver and Dezo are both gone. It's going to be a clean round for Fire and Ice. I don't think anybody... Well, one player dropping off.
Round 11.
Round 11. And it's a close one. And this is because, it's quite simple, because of Fire and Ice coming back through 6 and, rounds 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, so now here we go. It's going to come down to what initial strategy these teams want to run. F&I, they've been running the last time they were on the side, they actually prioritized the torque bow, but I don't know if they're going to do it this time around. Dyslexic and Fearzly have been able to get through the stuns on the side of the Knights. And the Knights with player 4 lagging behind. Is he going to go up? He is going to go up. That's a beautiful stun flash as long as he gets the melee, but Raver comes out at the nick of time and PK takes control of this round. Player 6 is trying to fight the 1v1 down low. That's a big kill for Toti. The 1v1 is not won, and then the Knights will get this one all tied up 1-1.
1-1, all tied up. All that work for F&I to come back to lose round 11. The most important one. Hey, it is what it is, but you already knew this was going to be a close series, and I gotta say, it is shaping up to be a good one. Who's going to take the win? I don't know, but I know game 3 is going to be a fun one. Harbor Escalation. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Emergence Season 3, Week 22 Grand Finals. PK, Fire and Ice, they've been battling it out, and we are currently tied 1-1 after a round 11 execution on Gridlock. PK was able to edge out F&I in that final round and take the victory 6-5, tying up the series 1-1. It is definitely looking like it's going to go the distance, and coming up next is going to be a familiar one. At least it should be to the teams, yourself and ourselves, as it is going to be Harbor Escalation, Blaze.
Yeah, Harbor Escalation has been a very, very popular game mode as of late, and you know, it's going to be one of PK's better game modes. We know how Raver loves to tear it up there towards Winch and Stern, but F&I isn't scared of any fight on that map whatsoever. So you guys are going to be familiar with that one. We saw check out Exectuion later on today, but I'm super excited that we do get a chance to see Control on Reactor.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one because I have a sour taste in my mouth given the fact that we watched it so few times during, you know, what was it, phase 1, whenever competitive was taking place and Reactor was there. Yeah. Specifically for Escalation, it wasn't the most entertaining map to watch per se, but I think it has a lot of potential to be great for Control. We'll definitely see if it can fit there because, you know, sometimes one map won't work for a certain game type, right? So Control could be great on Reactor. You never know, but this is familiar ground going into Harbor. This is a map that I strongly favor Pittsburgh Knights on. And the reason why Fire and Ice has struggled on Harbor traditionally, they used to be, especially during the Pro League qualifiers, we're going way back. They were an amazing Harbor team in the first couple of weeks. But once everybody figured out that long shot M-bar play over by the neutral of the first half on B, once they got through that, it was pretty much easy to deal with them when they were losing 5-1, 5-2, I think 1.50 on that map. But they've gotten better without question. It's an exciting map because you see that big 3v3 fight. But for the most part, though, I think Pittsburgh Knights is going to outclass the F&I boys here and take a 2-1 lead in the series.
I think you're absolutely right with that one, Taylor. I think PK is going to be the strongest team on Harbor, but You know, F&I, you look at how dominant they were in map number 1. They came back and forced around number 11 in map number 2. So we have to assume that they're going to keep this one close. I just got to tilt the edge slightly over in PK's favor, only because of how impactful Raver as an individual is on this map and how confident he is playing that winch stern area. So we'll see if that tilts the scale over towards the side of PK, but F&I is definitely going to keep this one close.
Yeah, it's going to be close without question. But again, you know, like you mentioned, PK to edge him out. I agree with that. But hey, we will find out if that is going to be the case. They're about to get underway, and here we go. That big fight on winch about to go down, and leading the charge. It's going to be Xploids, but actually a little bit of a juke. PK sends 2 players up top to isolate the players down low, and they're not going to stop. They're going completely for the OE.
Yeah, we see E United run this strategy a lot to avoid the winch fight and spread the map out a bit. And it's a fantastic play because you force your opponent to have to back up, and you don't have to take that 50-50 battle anymore towards the winch. So we're starting to see this map evolve towards that direction. The first down will come through for the side of the Knights, but no one able to clean up that kill just yet. 3v3 on the map currently, as Raver has to dodge these shots from Dyslexic, but feeling confident, knowing that this is not a runaway situation. He has to take one to the grave. Too much open space behind him. But in the grand scheme of things, PK could get control of Stern, but at this point, it's going to be a 50-50 fight because these players are going to get here towards the same time. Dezonide doing a good job just staying alive as long as he can, and it looks like this engagement will be won by the Knights.
Yeah, definitely will, but the objective still in the hands of Fire and Ice alongside that of the lead. They continue to hold on. That little trick strat that you mentioned, E United throws out there, I don't know if it's going to benefit PK, but after all, they will in fact be locking in the neutral once again. Dyslexic wants to challenge that, but he understands it's not the smartest thing to do currently. He's going to wait for player 3, Toti, to edge him out, and then he's going to go for the engagement, and that's exactly what we see taking place. Raver's down, but so is Dyslexic. Dezo's going to get a much-needed pick-me-up onto his teammate, and he's going to be able to live in the opponent's spawn. The only person going to challenge can be Fearzly, and he just made a mistake.
Yeah, he definitely did just make a little blunder right there, but he's going to have to come off that respawn and make up for it. It's the Knights with 2 heals to their name. They are about to pull away here with the lead in just a second, but they do have the win condition. But the one thing is that when they get the lead, it gets down to the point where they can win off of 1 heal and they can just kind of keep the map in balance and rotate around that point when you do have that lead. Don't have to turtle up, but on the flip end, F&I, they win the engagement down low. PK got some difficult decisions to make because in this scenario, they try to buy themselves a little bit more time. They're going to get that time because F&I will not press up. They want to win this one off of 2. They think the trip cap's too risky, and I don't blame them. It's a close game.
Yeah, definitely a very close game. You see it 207 to 203. PK needs to fight hard for another hill, and they don't have a lot of time to do it. Fire and Ice wins in just 15 seconds, and I believe we're getting to the point where even if they do get another hill, it's not going to be enough. They're going to need the triple cap, but you see they're not even moving out of their spawn. They don't have enough time. They've realized this. Fire and Ice will take round 1.
All right, F&I, they strike first. So great initial from PK. They spread the map. They come back, they get some Stern and Overlook control. But what F&I did that won them around was that as PK was worried so much about the Stern, the winch, and the home hills, Fire and Ice, they got that B hill capped up early on, and they was able to build themselves up a nice little lead to work with. And then they were able to battle the winch and the Stern. So once everything got settled, it just came down to controlling two hills, and that was the B hill, that was the home hill. They were in a great spot there in the late game, but we'll see if PK want to run a similar strategy. They may try to focus on winch, let Raver go off, but we'll see if Fire and Ice run the same strategy that PK ran last time from this side with their right hand at the Stern.
I don't think they're going to yet. They're going to go for that 3v3. Fire and Ice loves this fight. It's chaotic. It fits their play style, and they're getting all of it. But I think a little bit more than they can, eat at this point. As PK is going to take down 3 members, lead Toti to go ahead and bleed out Fearzly, last alive. And if Sumuns decides to push this, it's a risky play. But if he decides to push this and win it against Fearzly, PK could get a triple cap, and they're going for it now.
Yeah, they're going for that right now, but This is going to be a 3v3 fight at the hay hill. PK disengages. I thought they would have been happy to have the cross from player 7 to possibly close that one out, but they're going to take the safe route. They have a lot of map control. They know that player 3 could be floating along the middle, but you know, that's intentional by him. He wants to spread out his opponent, so he's going to be seen over here. B Hill still on cap, but the Knights, hey, they have the lead and they're right where they want to be.
Exactly where they want to be at this point. They didn't have the lead last time, so now being in this spot, you better believe they're not going to waste it, at least easily. Monkyz doing everything he can to keep Toti and Co back. I believe that's going to be his teammate of Dyslexic. Fearzly is really not going to... well, actually, excuse me, Toti does double back. That was a great move from him. He knew that he needed to help Fearzly out in this spot, and the team pick up there to boot is awesome because now Sumuns is in a tough spot himself. 2v1, and he's going to drop off. It's a great retake from Fire and Ice and a good read on what PK was throwing at him.
Now, PK, how do they want to hold this one? They're going to have a player die by the home hill, so player 8 just needs to stay alive as long as he can, but he's getting hunted down. Xploids is going to step back because he knows not to chase Monkyz just yet. The flash comes through, but the blind side from Dezo will trade out a kill to make this a 1v1, and that Monkyz will come out on top of. Sumuns goes down from the Lancer, but Monkyz knows that he has a good 1v1 once again, makes the big plays for his team. He is not giving up this stern, and he is just stern in his shots.
There you go.
It's late. It's late.
It's very.
You know, only one player out of 10 right now got to eat some food today. So you know we're still waiting for 10.
And a 1 player and 0 of the casters. Okay.
Everybody else.
Okay, like Armor said, we're running on coffee at this point. It is what it is. But hey, the show must go on, right? And I know the fans are enjoying it either way, and that's a beautiful thing. Fire and Ice looking to control this round. They've managed to take control. They've got Alpha and Bravo locked in place. And PK is going to be in a tough spot. Player 8 fully overextended. Tough 1v2. PK's got to do a lot of things right here, and they have to do it cautiously. Losing any member this late in the game is for sure going to give FNI to win.
It definitely will, because FNI at this moment, they have the win condition with 1. They are turtled up along the home hill because they know it's too risky to go for it. And PK has all the lanes covered, but that's a double down and 8 seconds on a clock. This Lancer is important. Nice flash, but player 4 needs to do it. He did not. 249.
Wow.
It was close, but he didn't get the chunk on the first guy. You got to get the chunk on the first guy.
Those hurt.
That's the closest one I've seen in a long time. I got to be honest with you guys. Let's look at it.
Break it down. Break it down.
Flash. 3 players running up. Fearzly's there. He went for a back A, and that's why he lost it. He's the last one alive, bro. You have to. What you doing? Who you running away from, dog? Kill the first guy. Up A into his chest. But he went for the back A, and he ran away from it. It came down to a split second there. In the end, the Knights, they had the perfect play.
Man, well done. And again, those hurt and can possibly deflate you.
They had 3 people in the hill, so it decapped in the quickest amount of... Actually, I don't think it matters with the amount of people in the hill, so I'll take that back.
Well, either way, man, PK made it happen and got it just in the nick of time and kept Fire and Ice at 249. Even so, the composure from FNI is real, and they're giving the Stern fight a really, really good attempt. And you got to mention also the 1v1, which is going to be won by Fearzly. Fire and Ice can have a very decent start here, and it's looking to be the case. Dyslexic 1 shot away from taking down Monkyz. He's out of the way. Got to deal with Raver, though. You didn't get the finish, and if Raver takes you down, this could be a disaster. Raver does. Can Raver get the pickup? And that's what I was worried about. You got to get those cleanups. Colin yells about it enough. You should know better.
Yeah, I will say that, you know, sometimes you have to make a difficult decision as a player. Do you go for the cleanup? Can you get the double kill and make the play for your team? He hit a good spread, but he just missed his next 2 shots on Raver, and Raver knew that he had to sit and cover to avoid the Lancer across map. So good job to Raver for being able to make that play. He finally falls, but his teammates, they're gonna die on Fire and Ice's side of the map. At minimum, at minimum, PK will be able to decap the B hill. But capture it, it's coming close because Dyslexic is looking. Does he get the cleanup? Not yet. The revive is there. PK, they're going to have to break out, but the hill was only capped for a brief moment of time.
Yeah, just a brief moment in time, and the scoreline's still very close. To be fair, all of this is the third round. All rounds have been very, very close, very tense, and again, just kind of showcasing how much these two teams want to win and just how close they really are. And that's the biggest thing. We already know that in Pro League. Fire and Ice and PK. Fire and Ice can play anybody. They can play anybody to, you know, do very well. But when they play against PK, and the same thing for PK when they play against FNI, it just brings out the superhuman in all of these guys.
Yeah, it definitely does, man. These two teams, whenever they play each other, Taylor, it's literally war for the fans of LATAM, just earning their love and their trust, and it's back and forth because between these two teams and Rebel is split thin, all right?
Yep.
But I will say I think it's kind of leaned over towards the PK side of it all. You know, FNI feels like they may be their best hope of getting a championship, but we'll find out in 2 weeks as that major's around the corner. FNI with 2 hills to their name in this round. They're in a good position to win it, but we just saw what happened last round, so we're going to have to wait to the last second.
Yeah, this is exactly right. Fire and Ice hasn't won just yet, although they are much closer. Yeah, they're going to win this round. There's not going to be any suspense this time, okay? Nobody's getting over to Charlie for PK, so Fire and Ice will lock it in at the 250, but that's going to be good for them. They take the 2-1, and quite honestly, it should have been 3-0, but PK made a great move in the last round, round number 2. So because the scoreline is so close, Power Weapon shouldn't be placed down. We're going to continue to build up for the Shocks to play for the second half.
All right. So the Shocks are going to be super important when it comes down to fighting at the winch and stern. You need that in your arsenal to open up a different page of strategies. Okay. So after I put the placement down low, PK just had the same reaction that I did probably. Oh, no. They're going to go tit for tat. They're going to match it up. So they want to just not do anything crazy. But I would have felt like the shock grenade would have been super important off the start. But I guess both these squads feel like the neutral hill is not there yet. So we can wait a placement. The retro lantern may be more of a viable weapon shooting down towards the B hill. So we're going to respect that one and see what plays out as FNI is going to get obliterated here towards the winch. And they keep fighting Raver and Monkyz with a right-hand advantage down there, and it's not working out for them.
Not working out at all, and it's going to have to be something they deal with. At this point, they might not even have a chance to deal with it. Player 4, you got to get a touch. That's going to be Fearzly. It's really not. He can't. He's got to go all the way around. Tough break. PK answers back. He did well at the very end. 2-2 split up. Okay, so at this point, anybody's ball game, but now that fight's going to be drastically different up top, and you really got to question who does it favor.
Who does this up top favor? I think it favors PK, honestly. PK, they have more tools in their arsenal to use. We saw the creative first round strategy that they had. We saw you know, how strong they are with their right hand at the winch. Now, we are going to be able to see that we see this power weapon getting placed down for FNI because they want to keep this map spread out and don't want that focus on the stern just yet. We'll see who can walk away with this quick pick because that's going to be the strategy to start this one off.
The quick pick is going to be it. And it's kind of hard to get that in, but we'll see who it is going to be.
Fire and Ice on the map.
Well, Fire and Ice has been known to get it. I mean, pretty early on. They've got it down to a path, but PK has been very aggressive, and Toti's going to punish him for it. And double back. Everybody just kind of tense at this point. There was a 1v1 on E, and they traded. So Xploids is going to get the sniper rifle. Well done. And again, Fire and Ice likes that fight. Again, going back to the Pro League qualifiers, Blaze, that was something they ran consistently. And I'm never worried about them getting the quick pick, but I'm worried about them getting the maximum value.
Okay. I felt like they got the maximum value out that initial start, though. I'll tell you that. You know, the sniper, when it comes down to the sniper, Toti has it in his hands. He has backed up across the map, has a lot of space between him and his opponent, but he also making sure he's in position to see these sight lines. Yeah, this middle lane is going to be covered. PK knew that they had to have a smoke as they came out of spawn, so they make those adjustments so they can creep up here towards the overlook. But this is where the flashes come out. These are crucial body shots or headshots for Toti, and Raver's tagged up. He's going to be double shot and downed. His teammate, for Toti, his teammate wasn't able to get the down on Raver, and I think that was really crucial because that second shot from Toti needs to go on a different player. He shouldn't be putting 2 shots to down Raver when he is the first one to wrap shot that corner. Whoever his teammate was knew the push was coming, but he might have been stunned.
Ooh, I like this. Fire and Ice is kind of spread all over the map, and I say I like it because if they do win their engagements, maybe they can make something happen. They would look as if maybe they were wanting to go for the domination attempt, but this battle on E is everything, and it's currently a 3v2 momentarily. 2 is going to be joining into the mix, trying to sideswipe the rest of the PK boys, and it seems to be working. Now they back off, and that little delay, even though PK had the man advantage, they didn't make the push for it. Fire and Ice will capitalize. They've got a decent size lead.
Yeah, decent size leads indeed. Fire and Ice, they're here to play. So 3 players going to be guarding Winch and Stern, 1 on a home hill basic setup. The real question is that when does that snipe come back up? Because PK, if they can get that the way Fire and Ice, they won't even have the opportunity. Sorry, folks, to score. All right, this is the F&I win in 10 seconds. PK, they don't get to these hills in time. Nobody's even off the ramp. So this one's going to be a wash.
Definitely well watch for PK and W for Fire and Ice to take the 3-2. They are trading off tit for tat every single round. And it is a close one without question. Who's going to be the first team to, string together 2 rounds in a row? Obviously, that would be the team to potentially take the victory. And what do we get? Incense or Hammerburst down low. Fair enough for PK.
Okay.
Or excuse me, for F&I. And then PK, what are we going to get down low? The retro. So firepower being the most important factor here, as opposed to the traditional shock and incense.
Yeah, no, that's key. F&I feels like the Hammerburst is going to give them more potential on the long range shots from afar with the burst versus the retro lancer power in these close range engagements for the side of the Knights. I will tell you one thing, we have seen a lot more home hill setups, especially this week in the Pro League when it comes down to Harbor. So both those secondaries can be scary. And with the sniper spawning down mid-map, honestly, up top Stern is a non-factor in the second half if you got the right strategy.
And that's a fair point. It truthfully is, but Fire and Ice still able to take over the neutral. They're able to get the long shot with Xploids, and throwing down that power weapon was absolutely the right play at this point in time. And this is something that could be useful as intel, especially whether it be in Pro League or the Major coming up. We might see this strategy of a power weapon down low come back into the bag of tricks for Fire and Ice, which would be kind of nice to see because I liked it when it was working, but then there was just a certain point where it just wasn't hitting right. Either way, though, it's going to be a tough battle or a tough hill to climb. It's always so hard. The shock is out. That shot is missed. Sumuns might be able to be an impact player at this moment, but he's gone.
Yeah, he's out of there. Xploids, he steps up, gonna miss the body shot, but he knows he has a right hand, and this player is weak, so he delivers the finishing blow to him, and now he has a sight line towards the home hill, looking for Dezo, communicating towards his teammates, but no one else is there, and player 2 isn't even making a move. Like for Dyslexic, his team has a lead, but on the flip end, it's probably that retro lancer on the other side that Dezonide has. And looking at his kit, he actually doesn't have the retro. So just Fire and Ice playing for time, and I don't blame him because I talked about the home hill setup before. If they lose this battle or disengage at the right time, they still got a lot to work with on the other end of the map.
PK is going to make a decent attempt to try and retake any control. They're going to get shut right down. That is an important shutdown given the fact the score line is out of control for PK. Fire and Ice is taking the lead. Well, they already have the lead, and they are going to get... Well, even if they don't get the domination, PK doesn't have enough time to travel across the map. This is going to be another F&I round. They finally chain together 2 in a row. The first team to do so in this map so far. They lead 4-2.
Yeah, 1 round away from closing out this map. And hell, they were 1 round away off the last one from making this a 3-0 series. You see the Karn just yarning right there, and we'll see if he can kind of wake up going into this next round after that yawn. But so far ahead in it, yeah, he's going to need to, right? Because we are definitely going to control and check out would be at map 5. If we see it, it will be very entertaining because the way Dezonide and Monkyz played it earlier, they put on a show. But it was a close one against Rise. It was a close one they had against Rise.
It was. Monkyz really a non-factor, fun to have. And then I believe Raver, because everybody's...
Monkyz is not a non-factor. Okay?
On Stern, as opposed to the initial when you're fighting for the long shot, it doesn't really play too much.
It's not a non-factor. Yes, it's... Man,
I swear.
Hey, you remember Sleeper?
I do remember Sleeper, but it's not the...
Tony's
it's not
on
the,
his map, too.
It's not the marks that we used to have, though. It's not the mark. I'm just saying.
It ain't. It still packs a punch, though.
It does pack a punch. I just think at this point... I don't know if it's going to play too much of an... for me, it was just a placeholder. It was just a placeholder.
We're about to find out. You could be halving your respawn timers on your secondaries right now, okay? That'd be very influential, but somebody wanted that Monkyz down pat, and Toti is going to get it. Call his name out, but he won't even get a chance to use it. Between the sniper and the Monkyz, there's too much long range potential here for F&I. They lock in map number 3, proving myself wrong because I felt like it was going to be tilted over towards PK, but they're looking gassed out right now.
I thought PK was going to have it as well, but maybe, like you said, maybe gassed out.
I took that personal exploits.
We haven't seen that one in a while, actually.
I took that emote personally.
Haven't seen that in a while. Hey, man, 2-1. Fire and Ice has the lead heading into Reactor control. And we go back in time to Training Grounds control. They won 350 to around the 250. It was, give or take. But almost had a 100-point lead, 100-point win. So that gives me some faith heading in. But then again, it's kind of up in the air, Blaze. And you know why? Because Reactor hasn't been played in some time. And even whenever it was in a competitive rotation, I don't know if they scrimmed it that much. Because I saw some massive beatdowns on Reactor. And I think some teams just kind of forgot about it, even if it was in rotation.
I'm thinking historically, because the first time we saw Reactor, I remember Chaos was on that map. I'm trying to think of what team he was on, but somebody threw it as a curveball and one squad got 5-0'd. And I think it was the side of F&I who 5-0'd. Maybe it was PK at that time, but that was a long time ago. Fire and Ice have definitely played control. I just feel it in my soul. Just all the matches I've watched, and I'm thinking of several different pro leagues and tournaments. I just feel like Fire and Ice has some experience on this map, but we'll see if I'm right or not soon.
So the first time that I watched it, you're right. A team did throw a curveball out there.
Damn, Taylor, you deep in the stats?
I'm deep in it. It's all up in the brain, man. I'm thinking the first time we had a...
I thought you had the spreadsheet out. I said, you got that?
I'm about to bring out my notebook. I'm not going to lie, but I don't want
to have that information.
I don't want to be rustling papers right now on stream, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a bit too tired to break out the big notebook, okay? I'm going to be real with you. But if this was earlier on, I'd bring it out for sure. No, the first time, though, I remember... in the series, someone threw it out as a curveball, as you just mentioned, and the team that picked it ended up getting 5-0'd. So that curveball they picked, it wasn't really a curveball. It was a curveball for them.
Yeah. It's chaotic. This 5v5 gears can sometimes be chaotic, and so they are. Oh, that was cool. I ain't seen a Reactor fly through in a while, but this is dope. I want to see this more often.
I'm about to put this on the big screen TV after the show and just watch it like my favorite Netflix movie, man.
Looks like a Michael Bay movie about to go down here. Is this Transformers?
Hey, it does definitely. I like Megan Fox. Is that? Hey, check it out, man. Let's get into the action. PK F&I 2-1. Can F&I close it out? I don't know, man. Monkyz and Raver off the start alongside Dezo will wipe out the members of F&I. Dyslexic trying to control mid. No success. He is gone, and Dezo also picks up that fresh M-bar. Where's the second one, though? That's my question.
Yeah, we're gonna have to oh, actually, you know what, it's only one of each, okay? It's just that when it comes down to the second half, they just swap the weapons that would spawn there in the second half. So it's an M-bar at the top of the map, it's nades at the bottom of the map, both center line, and I think these are two great weapon placements on here.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's just M-bar and then frag. So, and one's going to be on one side of the map, the other one's going to be at the other. And clearly where Dezo is currently at, that's where it spawns up. Dyslexic had no chance there. Gets his head rocked off. Toti now. So going to have some competition. PK has played this first hill so very well.
They definitely have, and they're going to bully Sumuns out this corner. 4 M-bar shots to work with, 11 seconds on this first heal. we're about to see where this next rotation is going to come through. And it's looking like it's going to be the bottom right portion of the mini map. So all these teams kind of crowd around this area, but you see those back lanes in which I was talking about. You can definitely contest the hill from there, but we'll see what type of setup is these teams are going to have once they be able to win the first team fight and clear it out.
Enemy mark!
Nice shot on the Fearzly. Seeing if he would line it up, and he does. He's connected, I believe, 2 or 3 shots so far. He'll miss the last one, but no worries. His teammates are tearing it up, and that team fire is going to make it happen. You mentioned the corner hills being the money hills in a way, and man, PK is just, you might as well even call the first hill a money hill at this rate, because PK is just taking off, about to get to the 100-point mark, and Fire and Ice hasn't even broke 6 points.
Yeah, they haven't broke that 6 points yet. You know, PK definitely looking like they have the upper hand when it comes down to this map. We'll see what they can do. We'll see if they can keep this upper hand in their favor. But so far, so good. You see how they press this hill out? Player 4 and 5 hit a 1v1 on the top portion of the map. The other 2 players push that lower lane out. And so just one guy on the hill, giving out a lot of Lancer fire. You're going to see multiple members of PK drop back, just trying to take out Xploids. But Xploids got some other plans. Is not going to go down without a fight. But it is about to be a new hill rotation. I think it's going to go to the top left-hand portion of the minimap where player 7 currently is.
And if player 7 is there, that's going to mean F&I should be there. But PK is already rotating over, and that's going to be the awesome thing.
These
PK
could be the money hills. If I had to pick a money hill, these could be the money hills.
Then I'm
right
worried
there.
for Fire and Ice if that's the case. But man, what they're turning up at this point, and what a way to turn up. If you're saying this is a money hill, Fire and Ice needs all of these points.
Yeah, they do, and they're going to get set up before PK. So PK just didn't get all their players there. It was still a battle for, but look how F&I is spread out. PK is approaching from the right direction. If FI can somehow be able to flip PK's spawn, I think it will be easier to defend if they spawn on the right side of the mini-map, but we'll see what happens with this engagement. Multiple members of F&I have some mid-map presence, but PK using their numbers to get into this hill and break, and they can safely cap and decap and dodge these shots of the members of Fire and Ice, but you can't dodge that one.
No, you can't dodge that one indeed. He's blown up, and I don't even know. Was he? Yeah, oh, nice. I don't, was Raver awake there at that point? But Fearzly will take him out. 150 and counting. PK still in control of this hill, and they'll get the scrap time as well. You could see Fire and Ice on the minimap to the right. They're going to be rotating down. That's going to be a lot of pressure on these guys from PK. But player 2 is in mid. And as you and Armored were saying, right, you want to have a player in mid. And it seems like PK is well ahead of that. That's going to be Monkyz.
Yeah, they're looking well ahead of that right now. PK, so with Monkyz having this cross down from center, outside of this kind of reactor going off and you having this steam blocking the sidelines, once that's gone, it's a clear path to cross out this hill. Oh, that could be, ooh, it almost went bad for him. He mispressed on Y, but it would have been okay. They would have been able to get the revives and revive themselves and get each other up. But so far, you see the nades coming from the other side towards center. Oh, you can shoot through those little holes too, throughout the cracks. So that's a good to know. Can't sit in any location here in the mid map and shoot for free, but they're gonna have to leave that spot and work on getting into this hill together.
As they're trying to sneak up, take one of them off guard, but Xploids going to be just around the corner, and Utility's thrown. You think he's going to push up, and he does. Xploids misses the shot, though, and an opportunity for Dezo you think was there, but they're getting put into the blender. Xploids cleans up Raver as well. And slowly but surely, Blaze, Fire and Ice is coming back. Still a long way to go, but because we're going to 350 points, it makes it that much more doable.
Yes, it does. So F9 will be, PK will be able to get the M bar back up. He actually cleaned up, had the M bar out. It will be picked up there by Dezo. Raver evens the odds. 3v3 fight. Dezo needs to relieve some pressure from him. Nice flash from Raver, but even better play from Fearzly. In the end, Dezonide will be able to save his teammates briefly, but he's getting pressured here from Toti. Trying to get out, connects with the body shot, communicates that to Monkyz. He gets the down, and they can hold this hill with 6 shots in the M bar, 3 actives currently. This is going to be a quick rev.
Nice, and it was indeed Dezo. Man, he's been so deadly accurate with the M bar and putting a ton of pressure on Fire and Ice. Anywhere they rotate, they're just not having any luck, it seems. Xploids, what's the game plan here now that your teammates are going to be up? he's just going straight in as he should. Monkyz is going to be down. This could be a good opening for FNI.
Yeah, it could be a good opening for FNI. And is so far but Sumuns
Shut down.
Great shots. And great shots there on the members of Fire and Ice. He will shut them down, Taylor, but Dyslexic, he will fall. 37 seconds left on his heal. The remaining players of FNI are all grouped up together as they're trying to work around this heal. You see Raver covering that far right lane. Sumuns has the stairs. PK has to go forward. Fire and Ice has to go forward. Nice flashes. It gets them into the heal for the neutralization, but still, one shot left at the end bar does not connect to Dezo. And a beautiful opportunity to get some help from Monkyz and a nade. They win a 2v2 fight, and they have pretty much collected on all the time for this heal.
All the time, indeed. And, you know, if you're a Fire and Ice fan, you don't need PK to be gathering all that time. They already have enough lead as it is, and they're getting greedy for more, but you can't blame them for it. Up 110 points. That is a significant lead so far, but again, not undoable for Fire and Ice. But the way PK is slaying out, Fire and Ice is definitely slowing down and not looking like that training grounds team we've seen just a little bit earlier. I say that though, but where's that fresh hill going to be? Well, currently being fought for. It's actually in mid, and the first one to get there is going to be Toti.
Yeah, Toti's going to make it here. Now, Toti, you got to hold this one off. He's going to have help from his teammates. One player came up the middle lane behind him. Player 5 is going to have an angle to Lancer anyone who wants to come from the center walkway. So FNI needs to collect on his time, but player 1, he's going to find himself a 1v1 down low, but he's quickly taken care of. And Fire and Ice is going to make this one a money hill. They've won all their individual battles, and it's currently just them alive.
Just them alive at the moment. They can make this comeback.
Did they see it? Did they get the mark? Player 8 haven't called it out. Player 5 is about to get the first contact. He's going to find them. Everybody's adjusting. Toti rotates over. So far, so good for him. PK has to play into their hand, but I don't know if they know if Xploids is here. They're so focused on Toti.
Nice. That's one. Can he get this? No, I can't get the second. That's the thing. We've been seeing these big flashy plays of picking up one, but not getting the others. But either way, though, you notice Fire and Ice Blaze has come back a pretty good amount of points. They're still down, what, 60 or a little bit less than 60, but it's doable at this point. It's doable for them, and if they can win this, the series is over.
Yeah, it'd be over indeed, and this could have been a 3-0. You know, the execution was went to around 11. FNI couldn't close it out, but Dezonide, he is trying to make them regret that not closing this out sooner. He's trying to make them regret torching his time and torching all of our times as he is looking to connect with these M-bar shots, coming up a little bit short. 58 seconds left on a heal, doesn't have time to reload, doesn't have teammates in sight. Monkyz is the closest one, but he's gonna fall. And the boys of FNI looking to get a good amount of time off this heal. Did it put them back in the game?
Right. I think you're right with PK being a little bit angry with that, but angry or not, Fire and Ice continues to come back and claw their way back indeed. You can see a whole bunch of PK members on the outside just wanting to get into this hill, but there's a lot of Lancer fire. The smokes will help, but for how much? And also, you got that one player, player 8, from such a distance, finding a nerd angle and able to Lancer out multiple of the PK boys. But by Wolfpacking together and working together and fighting for each other, they do make a break. Toti, the last one standing, does get a trade on Dezo, but it's not enough. PK will get the scrap time. Fire and Ice now needs to focus on rotating over and setting up for the next one.
All right, FNI trying to rotate over towards that top right-hand corner of the mini map. Actually, it's going back towards center, so we just completed our first rotation of heals on the map. So we'll see how this one breaks down. But Dezo getting some great shots there. He's going to be the focus of attention. Sumuns get some good Lancer fire in, but he needs to switch to the shotty. Xploids is going to take them out during that opportunity of switching the weapons. And FNI, they're going to spread out. They're less than 40 points from having a lead. They get it off this hill. It's anyone's game.
Anyone's game indeed. When you get within 20 to 30 points, yeah, you got to start watching out, especially if you're the team with the lead and the other team is catching up. M-bar in the hands of Xploids, and he needs to make connections with it, much like the men of PK were doing just a little bit earlier. it has tremendous value, and you also have to watch out for the nades that are coming through. But within striking distance, Fire and Ice at this point. But with that pressure on the Xploids, he's got to stand his ground, get these finishes, take down Sumuns, and he is successful. The only one to deal with now is going to be Raver, and Raver is weak, and he is gone, and Fire and Ice should be able to close the gap surely now.
Yeah, Xploids knew his life was going to be threatening, so he did a good job backing up when he did. He set his teammates up to get some free damage on those two players. And so far, so good. Fire and Ice, they officially have taken a lead in map number 4, and they are on the path to be victorious up to Days E-Days, but they have to hold what they have. Keep playing for the rotations, keep setting the pace and connecting with these shots, but PK, they're about to turn it up to another level unless Xploids can put them on ice.
He needs to. He needs to put them on ice at this point. Any amount of pressure alleviated. I mean, because you can tell them 3 players in the hill, make that 4 now, and they are covering all choke points, all angles. Fire and Ice, they are going to be hard pressed to get a break here, but it is a necessity that they do with PK. And let's put Fire and Ice out there in the wheelhouse too. Being so close to the 350 mark, these next points are critical.
Oh, he is so upset he didn't get that headshot. He calls out the Dezonide is weak, but his teammates can't spring into action quick enough. And with that heal being one there, oh my God, Dezo, you just let him live. Just, I know you upset with him, but
take
just
him out.
You gotta rotate, man.
Get him out.
Oh, I guess you get him points. You got all the time, huh? That's a long time. So he just hit his respawn. 6 seconds there for Dyslexic. And when you eliminate 4 players like that, you should always execute that player out the heel. They know that he's staggered. PK know that they have the main advantage. And with that intel, they are looking to take the lead and have that advantage rotating for the next.
PK is just setting a point. They're just setting a point, and they're saying, you know what? We're going to win this. It's over with. It is what it is. Even though you guys are coming back, it's not going to be enough to battle against. Now, I will say this. If Fire and Ice does come through and wins, I will be very impressed. That can't happen, though. Fire and Ice does get the break. 75 seconds per hill, Blaze. 75 seconds per hill. That'll put them within striking distance of winning.
All right. Now, F&I, I said that this one up top will be the money hill. And one thing I wanted to see for Fire and Ice to see if they can press out that first point of contact, even flip the respawn elsewhere. But it's a lot of open area on this side of the map. And I think they're in a good spot. Oh, he went for it, but I don't know if that was the play because he does have help behind him. He could have backed up, but he wanted to take the game over. Instead, it's PK looking to end this one and send us to a map number 5. It's 41 seconds in the hill. PK needs 25. Multiple members down on the side of F&I. They have to run. They have to scurry. Sumuns pulls out his Lancer, has an active and said, Toti, I know you wish you still had this position, but it's ours now as PK are the ones connected with the M-bar shots. It's only a matter of time.
Only a matter of time, indeed. It's going to end at 350 to 290 as PK will tie up the series 2-2 and bring it to a final map number 5. It's going to be Checkout Exectuion, and it's going to decide it all to see who's going to win tonight. It's been a long night, and I think I said it was going to be a 6-hour broadcast, and we are past 6 hours, and we got a little bit more. That's okay. Thank you guys for being here. We do appreciate it. A lot to break down, and we'll be doing that when we come back after this. Welcome back to Emergence Season 3, Week 22. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Guy Blaze. We are tied up 2-2 going into the final map number 5 to decide it all. Who is going to take it tonight? Is it going to be Pittsburgh Knights, or is it going to be Fire and Ice? To finish us off, we have Checkout Exectuion. That is going to decide it all, and already one Exectuion has been played tonight, at least in grand finals speaking. A lot of Exectuion have been played in general, but it was Gridlock, and it went to map or round number 11, which can only mean one thing, Blaze. I think this next one is going to be just the same.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same as well. You know, PK, they went to round 11 with Rise. We saw him go to round 11 on Gridlock with Fire and Ice, and that Rise match was a checkout one that they had earlier. So we know that these guys are warm. I do believe F&I had won their checkout game during their series before as well. So it just comes down to who wants it the most as we are about to enter our final map here of the night.
Final map of the night. So we're going into checkout. You got that top battle that takes place. Let me actually take a look and see what we have. We got a long shot that's going to be there, and incendiary. So incendiary and long shots.
Incendiaries, frag grenades. And when it comes down to it, I think we are going to see a battle between Fearzly and actually maybe Dyslexic and Monkyz on that 1v1 area of the map. Because you remember how Praise shut Fearzly down in that last map and they just had to switch positions? Yeah, so we'll see if they switch positions again, if Fearzly want to go up against Monkyz. But that 1v1 position for nades is going to be super important because it's up to that guy to try to save the round for his team, to be aggressive. If he gets those nades, he can completely turn the fight around over towards that platform area of the map.
Yeah, Dyslexic and Monkyz is going to be an incredible 1v1. You know, when you want two players to go against each other, those are the two that I personally think of, at least when you're seeing F&I and PK go against each other. Two of the most dominant slayers on the roster. But let's get it going, guys. We'll cut the suspense. All right, this is the fastest we have started a map yet. Thank you, Fire and Ice and PK. They want to get it over with, and we want a victor at the end of the day. So Dyslexic will be going against Monkyz. You called it, or excuse me, Sumuns actually, on the opposite end. That's going to be the 1v. And in the meantime, though, it's going to be a 2v3. PK will have the man advantage, and Xploids last alive.
Yeah, you're definitely right with it being Sumuns. I got mistaken earlier when it came down to the numbers on the screen, I guess. But Sumuns, he makes quick work at his 1v1 as well as his squad mates off the start at checkout. It was a 32-second round for them. The quickest that we saw all night was a 22-second round for PK, and it came down because Monkyz actually did win the 1v1 at nades, and he got that double nade kill earlier on throughout the day.
Fair enough. Yeah, those nades have been huge for just knocking players off positioning, and PK's been utilizing them quite well. Either way, we'll see that battle once again take place. Dyslexic against Sumuns, the rest of the members down low, fighting for the long shot. You also have the instants that are going to be there. Raver catches one from the back. I guess in the midst of the chaos, nobody calls him out. Fearzly should have been like, hey, man, you got to look behind you. Either way, that's going to be brought down to... Yeah.
I was going to say, Fearzly shouldn't have had to say that because the guy who died, he died by his man, his one-on-one there, okay? He took a risky chance to try to help the teammate out on platform, but that's what took him a shot in the back. But once it's all said and done, even though Raver got that first blood and the snipe is there, the main advantage is in F&I's favor. I don't see any nades in their hands currently. Do they have the nades? Ooh, Dezonide triggered it. He didn't shoot. Had it lined up. It looked good, but didn't take the shot. So I don't know if his fingers slipped, if his hands were sweaty, if Mom Spaghetti was coming up. But in the end, it's going to be F&I locking in that win for round 2.
All right. So 1-1, all tied up once again. And I say once again because, you know, looking at the series as a whole, it's just been neck and neck between the two, as to be expected. But let's see if this time, you know, the boys of PK call out what's taking place. Because, again, you mentioned that man-to-man. That player that drops needs to call out, hey, I'm down. Watch your back. Toti, speaking of which, is already going to have one of them. Raver trying to get a bit of a cheeky kill just behind him through the smoke.
Yeah, he tried to pull that one off. Ooh, Monkyz with a big shot top platform. He goes down, but his teammates have the power weapons behind him, and they will be left once again. No 1v3, but they have to get that kill on Xploids. Both body shots missed, but Dezonide missed. He missed the opportunity that he had. He tried to take that shot quickly to make it really much a 1v1 in the end. But if he would have just got that player as he was being revived, he would have had the 1v2, maybe higher odds. But I'll tell you one thing, he hit 2 body shots. His teammate being a plate, shoulda, coulda, woulda, all right? He missed a lot of snipe shots right there.
As you like to say, shoulda, coulda, woulda. 2-1 lead now. Fire and Ice starting to take off. Will they continue to take off? That is the question. PK needs to find an answer back. I love the fact that, again, like Raver and several others of PK have been trying to get those you know, flanks through the smoke, through the confusion. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, Toti might be able to get onto the backside of a couple of them. One of them being Monkyz, takes him out. That's a great elimination off the rip.
Yeah, it's a beautiful elimination for him indeed. But now, worried about the next one. Toti, he goes down. Currently exploits the last man standing on the map, a 1v3 scenario. The Knights know exactly where he currently is. So they're going to all be tied up 2-2 in our first to 6 here in map number 3.
Tied up 2-2. Send it to round 11. Let's cut the suspense. All right, let's cut everything in between and just figure out who's going to end up on top. Dyslexic having a great game, though. 6-1, by the way. 6 kills, 1 assist. See if he continues to be the playmaker as we expect him to be. Only 3 down, or excuse me, has 3 downs and 2 deaths. So at this point, he is having a stand-up game, just shaking it up in that last round, obviously with PK taking the victory. But the smokes are down. I'm thinking, yeah, PK's kind of taking their time a little bit, giving Fire and Ice a little bit more space until Raver decides to push up.
Yeah, nice smokes there for PK. Have Fire and Ice kind of flustered, and Sumuns is going to be able to get these nades with 4 players alive. He outmaneuvers his opponent, but with a nade in hand and a nade thrown, gets out a little damage, takes one to the grave. Mission accomplished there for Sumuns, but now his teammates need to take the power weapons, the incendiaries, and find these remaining 2 kills. They're going to start to slow the round down, give Dezo all the sight lines on the map. One of my favorite spots sniping of all time. Right here, check out. You see everything. It's just a matter of time. I've seen a lot of clips here from this place.
Oh, Dyslexic is weak. Second body shot drops him, and that's the round for PK. And I can see why you like that spot, Blaze, because you could literally get a bird's eye view of everything.
Yeah, everything on the map. You see it all, but you still got to connect with those headshots there. If not, man, you're going to have players pushing you from all types of directions, trying to nade you out, get incins on you, retro lancers and Botox, but we don't got to worry about none of those secondaries here. Not in execution. They're pretty powerful, but you just got to worry about center line weapons. Earn what you get in this version of execution. So Toti, mid-map, gets some good shots in there towards the platform. He's going to step up for the 1 shot, but gets taken out himself. And PK picks up 2 kills, 4v2 scenario. It's only a matter of time before Xploids is forced into the crossfire of PK. He's going to just make somebody go in that 1-shot range, but now he's finally going to be angled out.
Dyslexic has the nades, I believe still 2. Yeah, so he's going to have 2 to his name. He's probably going to chunk 1 here. That's it. You better dodge it, PK. Gets a hit marker, but it just finishes himself off. Fair enough. Hey, you might as well do it at your own hands, right? As you know, 4 members of PK are pressing into you. It's not going to be pretty. 4-2 lead. PK 3 in a row. That's the most we've seen chain together so far.
Yeah, that is the most we've seen together. So we'll see if they can walk away with this one, but let's not forget PK had a commanding lead in Gridlock before F&I brought that one back. Now, granted, PK did win that map, so that is that. But here we go towards the platform fight. Toti getting some initial damage in on Raver. Gonna force him to slow down, but his teammate Monkyz knew that he had all the health in the world to make a play while his teammate was health regenning. And they're gonna make sure they both pay it forward, working together, soaking up that damage. But Dezonide is still gonna be towards the back lane. Looks like he really didn't have too many sight lines to help his teammate out, but they may know that the nade was in hand. Revive comes through, nades on the ground, 3v1 all up to Sumuns. Exploits. Sorry.
And Exploits drops off. 5-2, 4 in a row. PK 1 round away from winning. Remember, guys, we play 6 instead of 5.
Yeah, we're playing 6 instead of 5, but all these players feel helpless in 1v2s and 1v3s for some reason. They just know, hey, it ain't nothing that we could do here in this round. We lost the initial. It's not working out for us. We just got to button up and go to the next, because it's just some scenarios, and I don't blame them, because this is like, what can you do, bro? It's not much you can do. You got 3 people chasing you down. You just got to start thinking about next.
I mean, that's really the big thing. This is looking like it's going to be over with. 4v3 already. Toti hits a nice shot on the Sumuns. Sumuns answers back with an even better. 1 player remains. That's Toti. He's bleeding out. And ladies and gentlemen,
that's it.
Your victors for tonight. Pittsburgh Knights will win the grand finals 3-2. Knock Fire and Ice out. PK stands at the top of the pedestal. And for our first tournament ever in E-Days, and one of our first tournaments, I think, ever in Gears, featuring 3 different game modes as we just did, PK is the best all-around team, at least tonight.
Let's go, PK! Vamos! Give them some love in the chat. It was a very special E-Day. It was a long one, but I want to hype it up for PK because they played phenomenally all day long. They fought hard. They were almost 3-0 in this series. They came back in the last few maps. to get this one going. And so I just want to give them a big congratulations because they fought hard. It was a long one, and they were playing some maps and some scenarios they wasn't comfortable with, but they figured it out, as all these teams had to figure it out today.
They definitely did, and man, they had an incredible run, and seriously, congratulations. You got to hype it up because, again, this was a tough tournament. You're playing Escalation, you're playing Control, you're playing Executions, 3 vastly different game modes that all have their unique traits that you have to master and overcome, and Pittsburgh Knights was successful in doing so. You look through the maps, and that's another thing too, the maps, right? Not only did we have 3 different game modes, we had basically different maps every single series. We didn't repeat them like we normally do in other tournaments. So with that being said, it started off a bit shaky for PK, 350-248. That was a pretty decent win for Fire and Ice, but Exectuion, Fire and Ice could have won that. They went to round 11. If they do, naturally they win Escalation. Harbor, they could have very well 3-0'd, but as the story ended up unfolding, Control Reactor was fun to watch. PK wins that and then ultimately shuts them down 6-2 on checkout. But you know what? PK's run overall was pretty decent. You know, they had to start off against Hive. That is no easy feat. And of course, had to go and beat Rise. And then for Fire and Ice, though, you know, their run was pretty decent as well. 3-0, the only 3-0 that we've seen tonight over VQ. They had to beat United, and that is never an easy feat by any means. And then, of course, they get edged out by PK. But either way, phenomenal showing for both.